Yeah, man, what's up, everybody, on this October the 13th, which people in North America like to celebrate this day for a man who never discovered America. All the schools in North America that teach our kids this day as a day to celebrate Christopher Columbus, who discovered America, is one of the biggest, boldest lie of education to show and introduce to our kids. Christopher Columbus did not discover America, and I'm going to break it down to you and show you evidence and proof. Here we go. Christopher Columbus did not discover America, as millions of indigenous people already inherited the continent, and European explorers like Seth Erickson had visited centuries earlier. Columbus landed in the Caribbean in 1492, but he never set foot in North America again. He never set foot in North America and believed he had reached Asia. His voyages are significant because they initiated widespread European exploitation and colonization, leading to the Columbian exchange of people, animals, food, and diseases, etc. Indigenous people. The Americas were already populated by indigenous peoples for thousands of years before Columbus arrived. European explorers. Norse explorer Leif Erikson reached North America centuries before Columbus. Geographical misconception. Columbus did not land in mainland North America, but in the Bahamas. He also died believing he had reached the East Indies in Asia, not a new continent. The significance of Columbus' voyage. Start of colonization. While not a discovery, Columbus' 1492 journey marked the beginning of a sustained European contact, leading to the widespread exploitation, colonization, and exploitation of the Americas. The Columbian Exchange. His voyages triggered the Columbian Exchange, a vast transfer of plants, animals, vultures, human populations, and diseases between the Old World, Europe, Asia, Africa, and the New World, the Americas. Impact of indigenous people. Columbus' arrival was a catastrophic event for the indigenous population of the Caribbean. On to the next. Native Americans were the first people to discover America, having arrived tens of thousands of years before Columbus, crossing from Asia via the Berlin Land Bridge. Later, Viking explorers led by Leif Erikson established a settlement in Newfoundland around 1021 AD, nearly 500 years before Columbus' voyage. Native Americans' first arrivals. Who? The first inhabitants of the Americans whose ancestors crossed the Asian over the Berlin Land Bridge. When? As early as 20,000 years ago, with some evidence suggesting even earlier arrivals. Evidence. Genetic studies of nearly all Native Americans contain DNA from these early people. Vikings. First Europeans. Who? The Norse, led by Leif Erikson, son of Eric the Red. When? Around 1021 AD, establishing a settlement in Newfoundland, Canada. Evidence. The Elands Ox Melons site in Newfoundland, overneared in 1960, contains the only confirmed Norse site in North America and shows evidence of their presence. Other theories. Polynesians. There is some evidence that Polynesians may have also reached the Western Hemisphere before Columbus. Chinese explorer Gavin Menzies' theory. A theory posit by Gavin Menzies suggested His fleets reached North America in the early 15th century, though. Portuguese navigators. Some historians admit that Portuguese navigators may have been aware of lands to the west and Azores before 1492, though definitive proof of lacking, which is basically they discovered it way before Christopher Columbus. It doesn't matter what anybody says. It is what it is. Now, the first Europeans to reach North America was the North explorer Leif Erikson around the 10th century, nearly 500 years before Christopher Columbus. The first Europeans to reach the mainland of North America since the Norse of John Cabot. Giovanni Caboto, an Italian navigator commissioned by King Henry of England, who landed in what is now Newfoundland in 1497. Leif Erikson. Around the 10th century, the Norse explorer Leif Erikson led expeditions to North America, establishing a settlement called Vinland. John Cabot, in 1497, acting on behalf of England, Cabot became the first European since the Vikings to land on the North American mainland, likely at a location in Newfoundland. He claimed the land for King Henry, making him the first to establish an English presence in the area. And this is how Christopher Columbus died. Christopher Columbus died on May 20th, 1506 in Valladolid, Spain, from complications related to a long illness that included congested heart failure, gout, and a severe form of reactive arthritis known as Reiter syndrome. The symptoms developed during his fourth voyage and included joint pains, eye inflammation, and blindness, leaving him in poor health for the last years of his life. Date of death, May 29, 1506. Location of death, Valladolid, Spain. Cause of death, a combination of illness, including congested heart failure and arthritis. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. It was arthritis. Modern doctors suspect Reiter syndrome, a form of reactive arthritis, was a major contribution factor. Symptoms: his final years were marked by severe joint pain, eye inflammation, and partial blindness. So you see, don't believe the hype and don't believe what you hear in school. This is for anybody, adults, kids, teenagers, that always believe that October the 13th is the day of Christopher Columbus. Vikings, Native Americans, other Europeans and Chinese and Portuguese navigators and explorers, they were here way before. We're talking about tens of thousands of years, 500 years, and even centuries before Christopher Columbus. And as you can see, he died poor and poor health, miserable with arthritis, joint pains, and partially blindness. So please, kids and everybody, don't let the school system fool you. And I'm only doing this for educational purposes. This is not to disrespect or make fun of teachers or professors or anybody that teaches this to our kids. And that's something that our parents should be very aware about if you have kids. Make sure that when you appoint your child to a school, that this child is in a school where they're going to teach them the rights and not the wrongs, the facts and not the infacts, which is the untruth of how America was discovered and how America came to be and how America has become to be. You understand what I'm saying? This is just educational purposes on this day that we so call the celebration of Christopher Columbus. Ain't no such thing as Christopher Columbus. The farthest he ever touched was the Bahamas, where basically he just reached the continent within the Asian the Asian, Santo Domingo, even Haiti at that part. But he never touched a foot or set foot in North America. Never, never, never. There's your boy Chico Black. I'm out here, y'all. Peace.